It looked like a dog, you know. They call it like the dog man or something. I mean, this thing was built. I mean, this thing was rugged. I mean, it's something I wouldn't want to tangle with it, you know.
One night, I'm sitting there and I had a dead body in my bed.
Yes, that's when I started hearing the doors opening and closing and then walking through the house.
And when she woke up and saw the shadow man again, he was charging the bed, coming really fast, like toward the bed.
Welcome to Myths, Monsters, and Mullets. I am your host, John Methenkamp. If you have a paranormal encounter you'd like to share, you can email me at mythsandmullets@gmail.com. Follow me on Facebook, Spotify, and YouTube, Myths, Monsters, and Mullets. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, share, leave a comment, 5-star review, and that's the best way to grow the show. Over the past couple weeks, you've probably noticed an improvement in the audio and the video quality of the podcast. I hope you're enjoying that. There is, however, a lot of stuff that I already have recorded from before my upgrade. So over the next couple weeks, you're going to hear a mixture of some of my older interviews mixed with my newer interviews. And then eventually it'll all be the newer interviews. So tonight is a remix of one of my earlier live streams without all the fluff and extras and the little chatter that was originally in the video. And I hope you enjoy it.
Okay.
Here we go.
She sent me her story, so I may not tell it exactly the way it happened, but she scared me to death when she was telling me what was going on. The only thing that I could think of what possibly would make sense of what was going on is that she has an allergy to antibiotics. She's really bad allergic to penicillin, and I thought maybe she was having some kind of a reaction to her antibiotics is the only thing I could think to make sense. So anyway, her and her boyfriend were asleep and she woke up and there was, I'm going to call it a shadow man, but a black shadow standing in the corner of the bedroom. And let's just put it this way, her boyfriend's always ready to have an intruder in a bedroom, so he'd be ready to go. I'll put it that way. And she woke him up and then it disappeared when she was trying to wake him up. And then they fell back asleep again. And when she woke up and saw the shadow man again, he was charging the bed, coming really fast, like toward the bed. When she was telling me the story, I was like, what the fudge? That is so scary. Oh my God. Did I tell it right, Kelsey?
So I'm hearing a theme here that these things, darker than dark, so blacker than dark.
Yeah, it was
And
dark in there, but it was blacker than the dark room.
that is freaking terrifying.
And I know. And when she told me that it charged the bed, that it came at her really fast and she screamed, then her boyfriend got up and was ready to go. But she said, you missed the part where I screamed at the top of my lungs, because he had fallen back asleep. And when she woke up, it was there again. It was charging the bed really fast, coming at the bed. And then, yeah. And when she let me know what was happening, and then she was going back to her apartment to sleep, then she contacted me and she's like, Mom, this is really scary. I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, maybe you're studying too much. You're not getting enough sleep. I'm looking for something to make a rhyme or reason of this. We're talking about a girl that, goes to church and has wonderful faith and doesn't do crazy shit like most 21-year-olds do. But I was just like, this went on with her for a while.
Yeah, she just commented it went on for 4 nights.
Yeah, I was literally like when she let me know that that was happening, I was like, I will come and just stay with you. I'll sleep at your apartment. I will sleep with you on FaceTime. You know, I will watch over you sleep with
Yeah.
your light on, because, you know, it was starting to scare me too.
So, I heard you bring up about, going to church and things like that. But honestly, these entities, if they're demons or whatever they are, that's the type of people they're going to attack first, because
Right.
they want you to question your faith. So,
And you can't shake our faith.
right.
I mean, like literally, you can't shake our faith, because we know God's bigger than everything. But it was just a really scary time, and she looked it up or something, like the allergy to antibiotics. I think that Kelsey, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking it was a time when she had a kidney infection. And if you know anything about kidney infections, that can make you, you know, like older people too, they start having like lack of sleep. And I don't know. I'm hoping that's all that was.
And I understand why you're probably hoping for that. And hopefully it hasn't come back since then. But, I know you've been listening. There's been several accounts just in the last 2 days on this show
Yeah.
of these very similar entities, or whatever you want to call them, and they're all being described the exact same way. And I don't think Moody or anybody else was going through a kidney infection at the time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, and just because it happened doesn't mean it's going to continue to happen. But I wouldn't lean too heavily on the antibiotics thing. I mean, that's whew, that is terrifying. I
Yeah,
will.
it scared me when she told me it charged the bed. I was like, OMG. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So my wife asked, "Could you see anything when the lights came on, or was it just while the lights were off?" And she's asking Kelsey that. Okay. Oh, so it looked blurry. Okay. Oh wow, that's crazy. I don't even know what to say on this, because this thing is.
Yeah, I'm,
Everybody
dude, giving me the creeps freaking talking about it.
yeah, but everybody that's describing it is describing basically this thing, this blacker than dark, blacker than black, whatever you want to call it, and along the walls, on the ceilings. That is terrifying.
Good Lord, I'm sleeping with the freaking lights on. That's all I know. Shoot.
Kelsey, something about hearing voices yelling for help.
Oh, so one time, I think this is what she was talking about. I heard someone yell for help, and she did too. And neither of us yelled for help. And the windows weren't open or anything. It was cold. But I have really high ceilings in my house. So you can, and it's an open concept. And she thought it was me yelling help. I thought it was her that yelled for help. And she steps out onto the balcony, and it was neither of us that yelled for help.
Oh wow!
I'm like, what do you want? Or what's wrong? What do you want? And she was like, oh my gosh, I thought that was you. And we both heard it. And I was like, dude, that was not me. And it wasn't her. We're the only ones here.
So this isn't the same house though, right?
Yeah, it's the house I live in. No, you thought I was saying mom. There was a time too I heard someone yell mom, and I thought it was her. She was in the bathtub, and she would lay in the bathtub for like an hour or 2 hours and put more hot water in there and just lounge up there. So, or she had the door shut, but also we have a laundry chute that goes from the bathroom upstairs to the second floor. And I thought, I mean, it sounded like she yelled mom and it echoed down from the laundry chute. So then I'm yelling up there, what do you want? I walked into the laundry room and I said, what do you want? And she said, I didn't say anything. And she did yell mom, and it wasn't her.
Wow.
It was
The history on the house.
the history on the house. The original house that was here was probably built by the couple that lived here and had no kids. And the husband passed away. William, his name was William, and her name was Mildred. And anyway, he passed away, and she lived like 7 more years. And then when we moved back home to this area after Mildred passed away, the house went up for auction and we bought it. But we tore down and rebuilt, keeping just the walkout basement. So the other 2 stories, it's a 3-story, but it's, you can hear good in here because it echoes if you're upstairs or on the second floor. So, and it's just been Kelsey and I here for years, but it was really scary. We were both like, you just feel paralyzed, like, how did we both just hear the same thing? And I heard it come from the bathroom like it came down the laundry chute.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring up that the house was tore down and you added on to it, because they say a lot of times things like that do spark paranormal events.
Yeah.
You mess with the original building, and maybe the original owners weren't too happy about that.
I don't know. My son will swear to God that this place is haunted. He swears. I am by myself all the time. I am not afraid. Like I have felt completely at peace. I have not been like afraid. Now, if I had a ghost man freaking rush my bed, I would be like, we are selling this place. We are done, because I would not tolerate that. But
It's okay.
just had some weird things happen. What was that?
It says it just happened to your daughter. It's fine.
Yeah, as long as it happens to Kelsey and it's not happening when she's here, then we're good.
Well, AK, I appreciate you coming in and telling your stories tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It was a chicken. But that's okay. We still stay and watch.
Yep. I'll listen in.
I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Can you kick me out because I don't know how to get out of here?
I can do that.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
See ya.
Next up on the show is Copenhagen. It was his first time coming in my live, which was a surprise for both of us. Normally, I'm pretty tight-lipped about my real identity, but I've kind of gotten over that over the last couple months. So I'm going to give you the unedited version of when Copenhagen came into the live for the first time. We are connecting. Copenhagen, how you doing tonight?
Good, buddy. Can you hear me? I can hear you just fine. Where are you coming from?
Virginia.
Virginia. All
I
right.
live right
What do
across the
you?
river from Jamestown.
Oh, okay. And
I'm in
Jamestown
the
has a
I'm in the
fair amount of
triangle
water.
area from Jamestown, Williamsburg, and Yorktown.
Yes. All right. Well, what do you got for us tonight?
Well, I've been back and forth about it in my head because I've had quite a few things happen to me, and that the gentleman before made something come up that I'd forgot about, and it was kind of crazy because it has to do with a family member that passed away, and this family member and I didn't get along very well. Well, I'll get into it now that I went ahead and started it. Um, my stepmother was really ill, and she was going to pass away, and they moved. They were living in Illinois at the time and had moved back to Virginia, where she was from. And I grew up in Ohio on a big old dairy farm, and that's where I was at the time. Well, when my dad and her moved back down here, I had decided that I wanted to get away from that farm life and factories and things like that and see what the world was about. So in the mid 90s, I come down here, and my stepmom, she had what was called spasmodic corticalis, which she had got hit in the head with a pipe, and it caused her nervous system to lock up and freeze, right? Now, I don't like to talk about bad people, the dead, things like that, because it has made some things happen, but she was a nasty person to me, and she was a nasty person to a lot of people. Well, she passes away, all right? She was 34 years old. She ends up dying in her sleep on a futon in the house. My dad doesn't get rid of the futon, he leaves it there, okay? Well, one day, everybody's at school, everybody's at work. I had the day off. I'm laying on that futon. I fall asleep watching the History Channel and kind of dozed off, and I wake up to being held down. Now, I'm telling you, I was held down by my shoulders. I'm 6 foot, 300 pounds, had no problem moving things around, right? And I hear this cackle in the background. And man, when I tell you my hair's standing up right now on my neck, my arms, and all I could see above me was the ceiling fan moving, and I could hear it, but all I could hear was the woof, 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 and I'll never get it out of my mind. And hearing that cackle in the background, and man, and all of a sudden it was like a magnet gets let loose. 1 minute you're stuck, and the next second you're free. Bam! And I was in my underwear. And man, I'll tell you what, I was out in the middle of the street before you could blink your eyes. I was up out of that house and in the street. Well, after that occurrence happened, we had a series of occurrences that kept going on and happening that wouldn't stop in the house. I can remember my dad at the sink, not like maybe a day or so after this happened. My dad's at the sink, and I happen to peek my head in to say something to him. And as I'm doing it, he goes and he flips a dish towel over his shoulder. And as he's flipping this dish towel over his shoulder, I catch a silhouette of a waist from the waist down to the feet, go from his side and shoot from his right to all the way from his right to left into our bathroom area. And it was white, like a misty white. And in that area is where our laundry room and things were. So, and my wife can attest to all of this. That's crazy, man. And at night, in the evenings, we would sit at the kitchen table and we'd watch TV and chat about the day and work and however. My dad would be the one that would like to do the laundry. He was particular about his laundry. Well, he would only do socks. Like he would do his whites and things like that separate, but he would do all his socks in one load. Nothing to socks, right? There's nothing to them. So he gets his socks washed. He puts them in the dryer, and that dryer door kept kicking open. Bam! And we're like, what the heck's going on? How's a dryer door just open up? My dad goes in, he closes it, starts it back up, sits down. We take a laugh, and he goes, "Ha ha! It must have been Terry." That was my stepmom, right? As soon as he said that, bam! That door kicks open again, and all that was in that sucker was socks, man. That's it. Well, we kind of brushed that off, and more just little things were happening, creaks and bangs around the house and stuff. My dad had asked my wife for a pen that he thought that she had in her hand. My wife said, "No, I don't have a pen." She was cooking. She had a cooking utensil. My dad said, "Well, how'd you get it all over the refrigerator then?" She goes, "What are you talking about? How'd I get the pen all over the refrigerator?" And when you look over at the refrigerator, and it looked like somebody had taken an ink pen and taken the cartridge out of it and squeezed it out, and it was in a heart. It looked like a heart, and then this heart started dripping down the refrigerator. And this ink came from nowhere. Absolutely nowhere, dude. And it was ink, real ink, and we were all sitting right there. No one touched the refrigerator. We were all right there. Well, we ended up leaving out of that house, and I didn't have anything more than that. With that, but my dad would talk about how his bed would shake and just different things, But I've got a couple more other things that's happened to me. If I don't know how long I can talk, or
Well, I want to ask a couple questions first.
sure, go ahead.
You mentioned the sound of the fan.
Yeah,
Did it sound like it was too big?
it sounded huge. It sounded like it was a helicopter. It
Okay.
sounded like it was a helicopter, like a rotor wash.
And the reason I bring this up is to a lot of these podcasts and a lot of these people telling their story. And there are a lot of people who report this fan sound.
I've never heard that before.
Yes, and they hear it in all kinds of paranormal stuff, whether it's ghost, Bigfoot.
Well, that's what I was going to tell you. I had a thing in the woods that happened to me once, and that same sound happened.
Okay, before we get to that, I have one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
With that mist that you saw run from the kitchen to the bathroom, was there any kind of definition to it, or was it?
I saw everything. It was a mist, but it was almost like it wasn't transparent, but it was transparent. I can't really describe it. It was almost like it was powder, but it was misty,
Okay.
but I could see the legs. I could see the legs and feet. Like I could see everything, but I could see through it too. It was really weird, man. I've never seen anything solid, but not solid before. That was the first thing I'd ever seen like that.
Right. That's terrifying in and of itself. I mean,
This scared me, man. And when I told my dad that, he was like, "That's crazy," because he said he was just thinking about her at the time. It was weird, man. I don't know.
so you have something that happened to you in the woods then.
Oh yeah, this happened to two of us one day. This is me and my best friend. We were in Hawking Hills, Ohio, and we were deer hunting, and we got out about 4 a.m, and we split off. And he's a good quarter mile away from me. Okay, and I get sat, and no sooner than I get sat, I start hearing this whispering. Right. To me, I just thought it was wood sound and wind, and it's dark, and it's spooky, and I'm playing, my mind's playing tricks on me type thing. But then it started to like almost make sense, but it sounded like Indian talk. But I don't know Indian talk. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know Indian talk just by watching movies and stuff, or going to like Cherokee, North Carolina, and listening to them talk before and things, but it sounded like Indian, and then it got fast and scrambly, like like that, man. And then I started getting this, whoo, 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 whoo. And when it would do that, man, it was rattling my body. Like it was almost like being around a 3,000-pound bull or something. but I couldn't see nothing, dude. I couldn't see anything. There was no sound. I didn't hear no tree break, no snapping, no, nothing was moving. But man, I was getting concussions from this, whatever was whooping at me and scrambling their words or whatever it was doing, but it was talking super fast. But it was like I made out words like what or like hey, or it was weird. It was real weird, man. So after that happened, I thought I had something thrown at me, but I didn't. I couldn't see anything, man. It was just like something passed through the limbs of through the limbs of the trees. I get back to the truck, and I was scared to tell my friend about it because I didn't know. I thought he was going to think I was nuts, So we're riding along, and nobody's saying anything, which I thought was kind of crazy at first because normally you're excited about your hunt, you talk about it, and I looked over. I said, Donnie, I said, I had something weird happen to me today in the woods, dude. He goes, I did too, man. I was like, before I say what I had to happen to me, dude, tell me what happened to you. And he goes, man, I was sitting there and I watched this guy walk up the creek bed, walk in front of me around a tree, and he never come back out from behind the tree. And he goes, but wait a minute. He goes, the craziest thing about that was he was dressed in flannel blue jeans like our grandpas looked in the early 80s hunting in the 70s and 80s. And he was pale, man. And my buddy's, he's fair. He's a dark-skinned fellow. He's got Indian in his blood and stuff, but he turned white on me, man. Turned white. And that's when I told him about mine. And we never went back to that part of Hawking. And I've never been back to that part. I never been back to that. That really scared me, dude. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Right. I would too.
I've never had anything make a sound that shook my body like that. Never.
So have you? How much have you listened to as far as Bigfoot encounters and things like that?
Oh, I'm interested in it. I've seen some like stuff, Expedition Bigfoot, stuff like that. But as far as knowing much about it, I don't know much about Bigfoot.
Have you ever heard the Sierra sounds?
No.
I encourage you to. They're on YouTube. Look up the Sierra sounds, and I do this live on Sundays and Mondays at 7 p.m. Listen to the Sierra sounds and come back and tell me if that's what you heard.
Okay, I will. And some dude said, man, you ran into the Ohio grass man or something like that, or so, I don't know, something about some grass man or something.
That's what they call the Bigfoot in Ohio is the grass man.
Oh, well, that's what he said to me anyway. I said, I don't know what it was, but whatever it was a big fella. He was a big one. Big.
Yeah. I had some stuff happen to me in Tar Hollow. I don't know if you're
Get out of here. I used to go ride horses down Tar Hollow, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Southern Ohio, Kentucky
You
border.
rode horses in Tar Hollow?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I used to spend half of my childhood spent down Tar Hollow.
Dude, we may know each. How old are you?
I am 45.
Dude, we probably know each other.
This is weird, man. Because I spent a lot of time down Tar Hollow riding horses with my mom, my grandparents, and that's how I knew Hawking Hills, bro.
Dude, it's okay. We're gonna continue this conversation off my live.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Personal information.
Where are you from?
I'm from Ohio.
I'm from the Dayton area, a little bit north of Dayton, a little town called Bradford. We're the Bradford Railroaders.
Wait a minute.
Troy, Piqua area?
I'm from Bradford, dude.
No, you're not. I'm from Bradford, dude.
Are you messing with me?
I'm a Bradford Railroader, homie.
Dude, really?
I swear to God, bro. How would I pull that place out of my ass or off of State Route 36? 721 splits the town. 2 counties from Miami and Dark, bro.
Dude, I'm messaging you after this live. Okay.
I'm from Miami County. I lived on James Street.
Dude,
I know Clark's Pizza. I grew up with Raymond Clark and all them. Yeah.
dude, my last name's Fike.
Get out of here, dude. Your grandpa. Are you John Fike?
Yes.
Dude, my mom's Sonny Reed.
Oh my God.
That's my mama.
It's John
John,
Fike.
what's up, dude? I haven't seen you since we were kids, man. How's your
Oh
sister?
my God, dude.
How's
I
your
don't
sister,
have my
bro?
last name on here, but damn.
Oh my God. I haven't seen you since we were kids getting on the school
Right?
bus. Oh my God, it's John Fike. Oh my God. What a small world this is. Your grandpa,
Yes.
your grandpa made the finest saddles around.
Right?
I know. He had the finest leather, made the best saddles. This is weird, bro.
Dude,
This
I'm
is
gonna
strange.
this live, all right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to do this again. That's cool, John. It's good to see you,
Yeah.
bro. Good to
Yeah.
see you. It's been a long time. Neither
Right?
one of us noticed each other.
Well, I
It just,
actually I can't see your picture. I don't even know.
oh, let
All
me
I
see
see
if I
is
can bring my camera up here.
me.
You just have to imagine me without the beard. Let's see. How do I do it?
How many followers do you have?
Like 50 something hundred.
Oh, then you should be able to. Dude, this
Oh no,
isn't.
it's not. Oh, I know what it is. I'm clipped in the thing here. Now, how do I flip it? Right here.
This is freaking nuts. What are the chances?
Well, John, it's not working for me. I can pull myself up, but I can't see you for some reason.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna mess
There
with
I
this.
am.
I'm done with this live. There you go. There you are. Expand a little bit. All right. What's up,
You'd
man?
you'd have to imagine me without the beard, but I've always had the fat little chunky face.
I know who you are.
Been a long time, hadn't it?
Yeah, it's been a real long time,
Our
dude.
grandparents used to hang out with each other, man.
Right. Hey, man, I'm gonna message you after this.
Yeah.
I have some people waiting to come in and tell their stories.
Dude, it's been 20. I've been down here 24 years, so that tells you how long it's been since I've been,
Right.
I've been back home a few times, but yeah, mom moved away and grandma passed away and they sold the farm and everything's gone out there now.
Yeah, dude,
So,
that is
but
awesome.
I'm gonna keep up with you, dude. I'm gonna keep up because I liked what you got going on anyway. You know me, I love that. I like this stuff. So,
Yeah, dude, this is freaking awesome. About
watch your language on here. All right, I'm gonna have to. You want me to let you get to some other people?
yeah. I'm gonna message you after my live. All right.
All right, John. Good to see you, man. Small world, brother.
Yep. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, dude. That was cool, man.
I'm trying to expand myself back out here.
I don't know how to do it.
Here we
I've
go.
known that man for 20 something. I've known that man since I was a child.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was already gone. Crap.
That's all right.
Oh, no.
And finally, we have Chad comes in to talk about some different orbs that he saw and an interesting Bigfoot encounter. Hope you enjoy it.
Mr. Brozier, how are you tonight?
What's up, dude?
Would you like to tell your encounter?
Oh boy. Which one you want me to tell? One you ain't heard or the one you've heard?
My other guests aren't in here, so you can tell as many as you want.
All right. Well, I'll tell you my most recent that you've never heard.
Okay.
All right. This happened about 2 years ago. This was about 2 years ago. And I was hunting a property that, in fact, I hunted it tonight. And I was sitting in my tree stand, and I dropped. This one's going to throw you for a willy. I dropped my, I had a sock hat on, and I dropped my sock hat to the bottom of my tree stand. Well, I just left it lay there, and the evening come in there, and I had about 15 deer I watched come across the road, and they come all the way to me. They come about a mile all the way to me, and I shot a doe, and she ran over onto this little property where I'm really not, I can't hunt it, but she ran over there. So I give them time, let them clear out. I get down, and I'm looking for my sock hat. You hear that growling in the background?
Now I do.
Whoa. Anyway, that's not a Sasquatch. That's just my lab. Anyway, I get down to get this sock hat, and this tree stand is setting on the edge of a creek. This big creek, and it usually holds just a little bit of water, but if it rains a lot, it'll hold 5-6 feet of water. And I'm looking for my hat, and I'm looking down in this stump. There's like these old stumps and stuff and holes in the bottom of these trees. I see a light coming out of the bottom of this tree. A green light shining out of the bottom of this tree. And I don't even have my phone, like a flashlight on, nothing. And I'm like, what in this world? And so at that point, I turned my flashlight on to find my hat. And then my hat was actually laying down in the creek, like down, and it's kind of a steep bank. I'm like, man, that's the only sock hat I got. So I shimmied down in there and grabbed my hat. And I'm looking at that. I shut my light back off, and there is a green light. This is in like November, late November. There is no lightning bugs left in late November. We don't have other things that glow in late November. And out of this hole about the size of a tennis ball, there's a green light coming out of this thing. And I'm looking in there, and I wipe my eyes and look again, and I'm like, what in this world is going on? So it kind of freaked me out, but I got this deer shot out here, and I ain't got time to mess with it. I go and I find this deer, and it's kind of where it ain't supposed to be and where I ain't supposed to be, so I'm trying to get it out of there in a hurry. And I called my boy, and he come out once I found it, and I said, we're going to have to leave our lights off because I don't want to cause a ruckus. I just want to drag this deer out of this property and get it to where we're allowed to be. And we grabbed a hold of that thing, and we started dragging it out the easiest, fastest way out of there. And it was probably about a half-mile drag to get to where we were going. Maybe probably a third of a mile, not a half mile, probably a third of a mile. I don't want to exaggerate. And as we're dragging this deer out of there, my boy said, what's that light up there? And I said, hang on a second, let's just stop and watch. And I see this light, it's a red light, and it's just moving all around down at the end of where we're going. Now, nobody else is there, it's just he and I. And the first thing that come to my head, back in the day when we coon hunted, before we had GPS trackers and things, we had what was called Saturn collars. They were called Saturn, and they were like a neon wraparound light that would go around your dog's neck. I thought, well, man, there's an old timer out here coon hunting or something. He's got a Saturn collar on his dog. Well, I said, it'll be all right. Let's just go. We start dragging that thing. We get a little closer. I see that light again. And it's just floating around down there. And I'm like, dude, that ain't no dog. That's up in the air. That sucker is up in the air. And I watch this red light bounce around. And it's I don't know. I really can't put a reference on how big it was because it was far away. And I watched this red light, but it was, I mean, not far away, but probably, I don't know, 300 yards away from us, 200 yards away from us. And we watched this red light, and by this time we're getting close to the end down there, and I'm getting about half nervous. I'm like, oh man, I wonder if it's a neighbor. He's mad. I don't know. And I watch that light, that red light, go right up in the air, go up in the treetops, poof, gone, disappeared, and this was obviously quite a bit after I the first experience that I'd had while I actually was coon hunting, but that was the first time and only time I'd ever seen an orb, and I don't know what that was in that tree, but I kind of feel like they were connected. I had seen one other time.
Right?
What's that?
The first light was green.
It was like the color of a lightning bug green.
Yeah, it's too cold to be firefox fungus or anything like that, because that stuff only comes out at very specific times, and you can only see it during the night. So yeah, that is weird.
Yep. That was a doozy.
Yeah. A lot of people report those. I mean, you listen to the same shows I do. A lot of people report those orbs out there.
Yeah. So that's my orb story, man.
Yeah, I like that. So let's tell everybody your encounter.
My encounter. All right. This would have been about 20 years ago in the early 2000s. And I was a young man, and I used to do, I'm an old man now, but I used to do a lot of coon hunting. And it was early September. The corn hadn't even begun to turn, to where it was ready to harvest. It was still very green. And what we'd like to do when that tall corn is we'd like to flip our dogs out, because when it gets that time of year, them kitten coons are getting big enough to where they're out and away from mama, and the cornfields are just full of them. So you take your coon hound and flip it, let your dog loose down them rows, and hopefully they run up on one of those little coons and tree it. And that's just a good way to train your dog. So we were out in this cornfield and flipped our dog, and we there was two dogs running, and all of a sudden, like, they opened up, like they'll give a big howl to locate, and they located, and then they just shut up, and I heard a couple whimpers, just a yip yip, and a couple whimpers, and like the dogs that we kept, they don't run trash. When I say they don't run trash, that means that they just run on game. They just run the coons. We don't keep dogs that run possums or groundhogs or deer or will fall off on a rabbit or something. We just keep good dogs. And so this sucker he just started yipping around. And I looked at the guy I was with. I said, dude, you think a coyote's got after them or something? He said, man, I don't know. Just be quiet a minute. Now, we did not have GPS trackers, but we had the old trackers called beep beep trackers. They were made by a company called Wildlife, and it would send out a radio frequency, and you could track a dog 5 or 6 miles pretty easy. These dogs weren't even a mile in there. And we could not get a radio signal on these dogs. We couldn't pick up a single radio signal anywhere. Not in front of us, not behind us, not to the north, to south. We couldn't pick anything up. And all of a sudden, I hear corn. I could see the corn tops moving around us, and I heard something breathing very heavy. And I looked at the guy I was with. I said, "Dude, do you hear that?" He said, "Just be quiet and listen a minute." I said, "Is that them dogs?" And whatever was out there started doing circles around us. And you could hear heavy, raspy breathing, very heavy, raspy breathing. In the circles, you could see the tops of the tassels just moving about 10 to 15 yards out from us and just see it going in a circle. I'm going, what in this world? Now, we're not standing in close to any trees. We're 150 yards in this cornfield from the road. We're just standing in this cornfield about a row apart. And we're standing there, and John's just like, just be quiet, listen. And all of a sudden, out of the sky, come out of the air, he gets hit in the side. Now, when you go coon hunting, back in the old days, you wore a hard hat, and you had a light on your hard hat, and on your belt, you would have your battery pack. And because of the time of year it was and the time of night it was, that corn was pretty wet with moisture just from dew. So we had like these light vinyl jackets on and frog legs, which they're rubber boots with legs sewed in them, and you pull them up, and that way if you got to cross a creek or something, you're good to go. And out of the sky, hit him on the side of the head, on his helmet and on his jacket. It was this clear liquid slime come out of the sky, smacked this guy. I heard a bloop. I said, John, what was that? And I look over, and he's got goo coming down the side of his head. I said, John, what is that? He said, I don't know. I said, John, what's all over your head, man? He said, let's go to the truck. And we turned around and started walking to the truck. And no sign of the dogs. Now, these dogs, this is 25 years ago, and these are $2,000 hounds each. He said, we'll come back for them dogs. Let's get out of here. We got back to them trucks, and the dogs were curled up in the wheel wells of the truck. We had to peel them dogs out of the wheel well of the truck, and they would not load up. Normally, all you do is drop the tailgate, and them coonhounds, they'll just load up. You just say, load up, boom, they jump in the box. They wouldn't load up. They was shaking like I ain't never seen a coon dog shake, and picked him up and throwed him. We had to throw him in the box because they would not load up. We had to pull them out from underneath the truck. We got in the truck. There was the foulest smell that you could ever imagine. I looked at the boy and said, man, what is that? Is that you? Is that stuff? What is that on your jacket? He took the jacket off and put it in the back of his extended cab, and it stunk so bad. He started driving off. It stunk so bad, we got about a mile down the road. He had to stop and take that jacket out of the truck and put it in the back of the truck and shove it in the top of his dog box because it stunk so bad. That's my story. Whatever it was breathing heavy. I don't know how the stuff fell from the sky, but it was the oddest thing ever. And just to give a little backstory, where this happened, I didn't share this on the other podcast that I was on. Where this happened, right across the road from it, is a man that has a high fence area, and he raises animals for hunting preserves. He raises fallow deer, he raises red stag, elk, buffalo, all sorts of different animals. And then they trailer them and take them to different high fence farms that the people come in and hunt high fence. During this time, and I didn't even remember this till afterwards, during this time, this guy was having trouble keeping.
I think I came off my Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
I apologize to everybody on that. I thought I'd lost you for a moment, but it was me.
I lost you.
The last thing I heard was about the guy raising the animals.
Okay. Yeah, so this guy raised the animals for like hunting preserves, and he had fallow deer, red stag, elk, buffalo. And during that time period, this dude, it was right in that time, he kept having something rip his fences open. and the animals were getting out, and he would find a dead one once in a while up in his pen.
Wow.
And the neighbor guy, so that guy raised the animals. There was a neighbor guy there that raised ducks. He would he was a Cambodian guy, and he raised these ducks for I don't know, they for the eggs and different things. And he had a big greenhouse full of ducks, and he had all these trees, these special trees that he had planted in the back. I can't tell you what kind they were, but they were some kind of special tree, and they were very expensive. Well, during this time when these animals, that something was tearing these fences down, all these trees he planted back there, they all got tore down. They were like snapped off.
Oh, wow.
These two were in a feud because this guy was saying, well, all these your animals getting out, they're tearing my trees up. But they were like, trees about 3-4 inches around, and here they are snapped off. Although I just wonder if there was some sort of, I've always wondered if there was some sort of correlation there between the two, all those things happening around that time.
Right. Chad, do you want to tell everybody where this happened?
If I told it, yeah, I could tell people where it happened. They're going to think I'm crazy.
It's up to you.
Mercer County, Ohio.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
For those who don't know, I actually work with Chad, so I have heard this story before. But yeah, that is insane. I'm going to bring this up. Well, first I got a question. Did the dogs have the collars when they got back to the truck?
Yep. Fully functioning.
Oh, wow.
Yep. The batteries were not dead, but we were not getting a signal.
Wow.
And those are like the most trustworthy old collars. There's a lot of old timers that still use those because they're like foolproof. You don't have to have a cell phone signal for them. They're like a CB radio signal. And you just like point, and it's like beep, 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 beep. And you kind of get a line on where your dog is at. And they totally failed. They just quit working.
So I'm going to bring this next little thing up. And I know that other people have brought this up to you. In a lot of encounters that you hear, I shouldn't say a lot. I've heard of encounters with Sasquatch where they're so worked up that they have an erection.
Yeah, I didn't see him. I don't know nothing about that. But
I know. But what was the consistency of this slime? Is what I'm getting at.
Listen, here's what it was. It was like the jelly in Vienna sausages.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. I know other people have asked that question.
It was like listen, and it was foul. It was foul. And I don't know how. I mean, dude, this stuff came out of the sky. It straight up come out. There's no trees around. There ain't nothing but stars and corn tassels above our head.
Well, maybe it was the jelly out of Vienna sausage, and you guys just interrupted his snack.
Could be, man. Could be. But whatever it was, it came flying from the sky, boy.
Right. All right, Chad. Well, I appreciate you coming in and telling your story. I was hoping you would at some point.
Yeah, boy. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, I believe you, buddy.
All right, man. We'll see
I'll
you.
see you tomorrow.
And that's it for tonight. I'd like to thank Copenhagen and Chad for coming into the live. And if you have a paranormal encounter you'd like to share and you'd like to be on the show, shoot me an email at mythsandmullets@gmail.com. Good night, everyone.
Like a freight train, 'cause what you make me